You can't count electric out from collector car vehicles, just like you couldn't count any particular class of car. I mean, people collect almost everything in the car world, and electrics are no different. I think right now, two examples I can think of are the EV1, the General Motors car, the Tesla Roadster. Not the new Tesla Roadster is coming out, but the original.
Any idea on values on those two cars?
I really have no idea at all on the EV1. Here's the thing. I mean, who's the logical buyer? Jay Leno, right? I mean, something like that to put next to the Chrysler turbine car.
Did any of them survive the Crusher?
Yeah, there's quite a few that, well, not quite a few, but a handful that survived
outside
the Crusher.
of museums?
Well, yeah, but a few have found their way into private hands because museums close, and then the auction happens or something like that. And I know of at least two that are in private hands, and probably a bunch
with the
more.
running gear in them.
Yes.
Wow.
And then the other one is the Tesla Roadster. Not the new Tesla Roadster is coming out, but the original Lotus.
Lotus. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're out there and being sold. It's one of those things where these things are changing, and they will change rapidly. We don't have a lot on the collector vehicle radar screen yet. For
any idea on values on those two cars?
I really have no idea at all on the EV1. I mean, that's one of those cars that's
probably just not enough market data.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, who's the logical buyer? Jay Leno, right? I mean, something like that to put next to the Chrysler turbine car. Kind of two, kind of interesting cars to with completely different propulsion systems to put next to each other. I would think that a good Tesla Roadster would be a 50 plus car right now. Something like that.
And that was what, $125 new, something like that?
Yeah. But I mean, they're going up, so.
So you're basically saying all of their depreciation is gone.
Absolutely.
Now they're going the opposite direction.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you see other products that are new, like that EQS AMG or a Porsche Taycan, that will enter into that collector space?
Let me ask you something. What do you think of the design of the Taycan?
I love it.
So do I.
But I'm going to give you a caveat here. It needs to be in the right color. Sadly, Porsche has done a horrible job marketing that car because all of them they've shown to the media, at car shows, to the public are silver, gray, black, and white, and that is it.
Don't get me started on silver and German cars.
It's
I'm
horrible.
I'm done.
Done, exactly.
I'm done.
Look at this beautiful blue. It's stunning.
I know. And everyone who goes in will buy Mercedes, will check box silver. I don't get it. I mean, because they do have beautiful colors, but I mean that's getting off the road there. But I think a Taycan will be a collector car. Absolutely.
All of them, or like the Turbo S, or
well, they're painfully beautiful. I mean, really think they're
in
very,
the right color.
very good-looking car.
Especially that Cross Turismo. God, that looks so beautiful.
I've seen it in a buckskin that I really liked. It was not out there at all, and I've also seen. I guess I saw one in a medium green that looked pretty good.
Oh, I know the color.
Yeah.
Especially in the Cross Turismo, looks magnificent. I got a friend of mine that's got an allocation on one in that color.
Yeah. So I mean, I think those are are spot on collectibles in the future, but. I mean, we don't have a lot of history of electric cars, right? I mean, unless we go back to the Detroits and the Bakers and all that sort of stuff, which, by the way, have gone up in value quite a bit in the last 5 years.
What are those worth?
It used to be it was a $20,000 car. I don't think you can touch them for under 50 now.
Oh,
I mean,
so more than double.
For absolute working cars that are in good shape.
And what time frame have they doubled?
In the last 5 years, I think there's the renewed interest in electric cars has also mean a renewed interest in collectible cars.
Is there a collector interest in they were a science project, but they did a Toyota RAV4 EV, stuff like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I haven't seen one, but I mean that kind of slots in with the collectible SUVs. Of course, a mini SUV if there ever was one.
Crazy.
But, I mean, the SUVs are the station wagons of this generation. It took a while for station wagons to catch on, but boy,
so
did
you're
they
saying
ever.
For that to get anywhere, or really SUVs to get anywhere, it'd be 50, 60 years. But this...
No, not 50, 60.
You don't think so?
Oh, no, 20.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I would think that would apply to, X5Ms, that kind of stuff, but, the X5 with a 3-liter 6-cylinder, I don't think that would be very collector-esque.
Well, anybody who tried to put any luggage in the back of it would not want to do that. So
no, definitely not. But the RAV4s, the RAV4 electric, they made very few of them.
Yeah, they're all California too.
They were
right?
all California.
Right, exactly.
So I would think they would have some collector value.
I think so. Yeah, I think they do.
Do the same parameters apply? And this is what you taught me actually 20 years ago. So it's how many that were made new, were they interesting when they were new, any racing history, and there was a fourth parameter. What was
Well,
it?
I think it's acceptance or lack of acceptance. I mean, a lot of times cars are so rare. It's because they couldn't sell them.
Like the DB4 GT Zagato.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, they were either overpriced or, there was just no market for it, or they were brought out at a time that the market collapsed. That's the typical one. It's going to sell 1 million. We're going to do great with it. And then all of a sudden the housing crisis comes in and boom, nobody buys them. So, I mean, there's all those things that happen. I wouldn't focus on rarity because there's an awful lot of collector cars. Mustangs, they're not rare at all, but boy, are they collectable.
But they don't go up in value.
Well, yeah, they can.
Well, GT350s do.
Oh, no, but an R,
oh, absolutely. But,
yeah.
like, for example, a Mustang, a 2020 Mustang GT Performance Pack, great car, but that ain't going up in value.
Yeah, but the Bullet will and a few others.
A special edition, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's plenty of them out there.
So you're saying it's the same parameters will apply even with an EV propulsion system.
Yeah, and now we're all hung up on batteries and all that sort of stuff. And what if we can't replace the battery packs? Boy, have I heard that 1,000 times. As a matter of fact, my wife had a 2005 Ford Escape Hybrid, and we couldn't sell it in 2012, 2011, whenever we were going to sell it, because all the information out there on the internet was that the battery pack was going to crap out at 60,000 miles, and of course they never did. They never did. I mean, they went in taxis in New York City 300,000 miles, and they never got replaced. So, I mean, the early information can be the killer on that, and it will be on electric cars as well. The lead time between the engineers talking about it and then the development and then the production version, all that makes a big difference. So if the information gets out from the guys who are developing it, and then all those problems get solved, that's a big difference.
So what we're saying is, yes, there will be a collector world that includes EVs. It's just a segment of two, effectively, today, and watch this space.
Yeah, I pretty much that. But it will happen. They don't have the smells. They don't have the sounds. But they've got a lot of other things, kind of.
Do you think that will provide downward pressure on values?
I would think so, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of utility use in cars, and once the utility use goes, in other words, you can't, take it to the swimming pool, you can't take it to groceries, you can't do this, whatever, then it becomes kind of a collector use. And so, I mean, some of them will fall away. The crappy ones always do, okay? They're the parts cars of the future.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones that have been wrecked, the ones that were maltreated.
The Mitsubishi IMEVs.
Holy smoke, boy, you pulled that one out.
Yeah, it's a horrible car.
Yeah, truly.
Sadly, there is someone on this field that has one. And actually, he works for Hagerty.
Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, well. Hey, what can you say? That's why they make vanilla and chocolate again. By the way, my favorite Mitsubishi line, a friend of mine rented a Mitsubishi, and after we wondered about his bankruptcy, a friend of mine said, "What model is that?" And the other guy said, "It's the Mitsubishi 400." And I said, "The 400?" He says, "Yeah, that's the credit score you need to get it." Ooh, I don't think the Mitsubishi people are going to like us now.
Okay, on that note, I got to ask some classification questions here. So we're saying EVs will have a collector value at some point. We just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Does a car like a P1, a 918, do they fall into full EV, or is that still considered an ICE collector?
Yeah, that's a nice car. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and anything with a gasoline engine, even if it's just to power the the electrics in some way or something like that.
So a Volt would be considered an ICE car,
but a Bolt would not. V versus B. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. But the Bolt, to me, that's like a 63 Chevy Nova. They don't have a collector, unless it's like a hot rodded car that was a convertible, but they never made them like that.
No, and a Bolt is the ultimate kind of utility car.
Yeah, it's a Swiss
as far
Army
as that
knife.
goes. But I mean, the ones that enter the collector market in that case are the ones that are super low miles, super well cared for. Grandma's car in the garage.
Kind of
type
like
thing.
the Centennial Chevette that has 100 miles that's sitting in the GM Heritage Center right now.
Kind of like that, yeah.
It's the
exactly.
only one that has collector car value.
Actually, the Bolt has brakes that actually work, unlike all Chevettes of all time. Yeah, exactly. Hey, if a Geo Metro can become a collector car, anything can.
I've never heard of a Geo Metro become a collector car.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How so?
Well, there's one that sold, I think it might have been on Bring a Trailer, with like 0 miles on it, a convertible. which is even worse.
But the thing about that, you're not buying...
You're buying the story.
You're buying the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're buying the fact that someone didn't drive it,
Right.
and the minute you drive it, it loses all its
That's
value.
the same thing with any low miles car, though.
Yeah.
I mean, well, not any low miles car, but yeah, you're scrubbing.
That's
scrubbing
probably
value
a
off all the
separate
time.
discussion we're going to have in a separate episode. It doesn't really apply here. So really, I was just about to say I don't agree with you on the Bolt in the collector car value. I think it's more the Tesla Roadster, the EV1. I think the Toyota RAV4 electric is going to be a collector's item because they made so few of them.
Right.
And there was a couple of others that were out there. I'm trying to remember what they were, but there were a couple of others out there that they made that were full electric. Like Nissan made a couple. They didn't. I think they only sold them in Japan though. So I'd be interested to find out if they even make their way through the show display here. So they have to jump through that hoop, and then would they become electric? So there's a lot of moving parts here, and I think this is the point of the episode we're turning around the audience, because really we've got to understand, A, do they see collector car value? Because there was that point that you said about the 4 aspects. One of them, acceptance. Would the audience accept these as collector cars, number one? And number 2, what do they see as it's currently in that segment? So we see it as 3. Are there other cars we're missing?
Yeah, I agree. And you just used the word current, and we're talking about electric cars. So big props for that. I really appreciate it.
I meant to do that.
It was a plug.
He'll be here all week. Try the view. On that note, this is where we say you could follow this man here on Twitter at DH Kinney, on Facebook at Dave Kinney.
You could go to Hagerty Valuation Tools, too. You can find me there.
Because he is the man that literally writes the book on collector car values. And you can follow us, MotoMan TV, all one word, MotoMan TV, all one word, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And, of course, we have to once again ask for their help with the algorithm. What does that mean, Dave?
I think they have to share it with all their friends is one
That's
thing.
the most important thing.
Yeah.
I like how you just cut right to the chase and don't waste the
Screw
crap.
the other stuff.
Screw the you know what, forget it. Just hit the like, share it with your friends. That's all we care about. Until Dave and I see you in the next episode, or until I see you in the next episode, bis später.